U.S. Navy. So, you know, and to edge that out with crew cost, it's pretty substantial. So, yeah, the cost buckets for the railroad are pretty big in a fixed regard. And the crew piece is unique because that's one where we can create an efficiency where we're not doubling the cost in certain areas over and over. And, you know, there's sometimes we have events where a weather event where we basically have to recrew every train, and it just is brutal. You know, it's really, really difficult.
You had posed a question earlier in your session, and I don't know the answer to it, but I'm going to ask, and then I want you to clarify and tell us which. You said, which runs faster, an empty or a full coal train?
Yeah.
All right. How many says empty? Faster. Okay. How many says full? And I'm on the full side.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is it?
Oh, the empties are much faster.
Okay.
I mean, those loaded coal trains. I mean, so when you see
they're going downhill faster.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Right. Momentum.
Okay. All right. Coal trains have anywhere from 2 to 6 locomotives. Most of them are around the 3 to 4 range, and they've got the same number of locomotives coming back. So our measurement when we move trains is horsepower per ton, and it was one of my inputs was HPT. The more horsepower per ton you have, the more velocity you will have, because railroads, again, the complexity of the railroad, we have permanent slow orders, we have temporary slow orders, but when you have to take a 20,000 ton train, so multiply that times 2,000 to get the pound is a lot, and you've got to slow it down to 45 miles an hour. When you're loaded, it takes you miles to slow down to 45 just for that one curve, and then your train's 1.5 miles long to get through the curve, and then you try to get back to track speed. When you're an empty coal train, you squat right before the turn, and you're down to 45, and then boom, you're right up to track speed because your HPT is off the chart. I mean, an empty coal train is great. Like that's what everybody wants to run is empty coal trains. And then all of our manifest is somewhere in between. And so we really try to run with as little horsepower as we can because horsepower, again, what does it drink? Diesel, another big cost. So yeah, it is a complicated business. No, we don't make a lot of money. No, I was just thinking,
By the way,
he said we don't make a lot of money on empty coal trains, but I was just, it's funny you say that because I was thinking right before this meeting, I thought, why don't we like transload truck stuff in empty coal sets that might want to go from Georgia back to Wyoming? I mean, surely there's something that wants to go that route.
Right,
I don't know.
right. Another question in the back.
Do you have, let's say, crisis management teams and weather specialists, et cetera, working very closely with your crew?
I'm sorry. Can you say that just a little slower?
Sorry. Do you have weather specialists, meteorologists, et cetera, and crisis management teams that work very closely with your crew dispatchers, or like on a day-to-day basis, if new weather patterns are emerging that are not known before, et cetera?
Do you have crisis management teams?
Like in the case of a crisis? Yeah, or
weather patterns is the other example.
We monitor the weather constantly.
Like in October, that 10th month?
If you look, it's like, you see the movies where NASA's got the big room in the wall. That's our NOC floor. And we have the weather up there. We have people in the field all over the railroad that are in touch with the weather. We try to get ahead of it. We try to be prepared for it, and certainly we have had our rail wiped out many times with floods, and our engineering teams, this is another part of the complexity of the railroad, our engineering teams are phenomenal. They can come in and build a bridge that the government would take 3 years, they'll do it in a week. And that's the truth. So yeah, and then we have fallback disaster recovery, places where dispatchers can go. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of redundancy built in our network. I mean, what we do is very critical for our economy and our way of life. And so that's taken very serious by the people that run our railroad, and they do really, really good job of that.
Cool, thanks. Another question on the decisioning side of it. So you do predictive analytics to say what's the prediction of, say, crews making it in time or not. But are you looking at some new tools in the AI space to actually respond to those predictions and say, make the job of the crew dispatchers easier or kind of potentially replace some of them with the machines?
Well, and that'd be the next step, right? And just remember, this is just my story. What I'm trying to do is inspire non-technical people that are coming in new, coming in young, people like me that maybe have come out of the business and into the, This is just my first step. So absolutely, you're thinking the next step and the next step. And certainly, yes, that would be, I think, where you go from there. And I think kind of what we've seen in a lot of the talks up in the Diamond Room is AI is not something that you can just say, hey, we're going to do this year and we're going to save all this money. I think it's something that you got to stick your toe in the water, pull it out. You know, I mean, what's worse than no information? Bad information. So I think you put it through the model, and yeah, my academic model showed 90%. Well, let me apply that to a few more subdivisions. You know, let me kind of slowly start working this out and kind of really see if this is helping before I just put it all out there, and then what if there were some things I missed, you know? So I'm not in a big hurry. Yeah, I want to see it go to production. I want to see it make a difference, but I want to do it right. You know, I want it to be trusted. I don't want to give algorithms a bad name by getting them out there too quick. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think you go next level with that.
Any other questions? Okay, 2 things. 1, please fill out the survey for this session. I want to thank you. That was fantastic. And chime in.